What is up? Welcome back, welcome back. So much has changed in a week, a lot to go through. I'll start off with the carbon fiber hood. So the last that we left off, this guy, basically oh yeah, so as you can see I've taken it off because you can see it was digging into the paint a little bit. So I was like, nah, we're gonna have to pull this off ASAP. So I pulled it off. That's just covering up the shaft. And chucked it up here, and what I need to do basically is trim these threads down. As you can see, these are the stock ones that go into the OEM hood, much smaller than the studs that are already in here. So if you take into account the head of the nut plus that space there, like, so many threads needs to come off. Measure these up, chop them down, and then we'll put this back on the car. And there was a couple of little areas where it was hitting, like there's a mark there, there's another mark over there, which I think is from the bonnet stay or the hood stay, the prop rod, this guy. And what I think is happening, it's hitting right here and not allowing it to close. And then I'm gonna put the hood back on the car, jack the front of the car up, and then I'll see if I can't stick one of my cameras in there and just find out where it's actually touching on the car, so that way I can see how much room I've actually got to play with. Let me break out the old grinder and I'll get to cutting my brand new carbon fiber hood. Man, I know it looks like I didn't take very much off, but I'm trying to err on the side of caution here and just take the least amount of threads off to make it clear, and then I can always come back and cut more. I can't really add threads to this, and I really don't want to wreck the threads on this because that'll be a nightmare to try and get fixed. There we go. It's the first two threads done. I may have to come back and shorten them a little bit more, but they look a little bit more even as well. And I mean, I took pretty much what I said off, so I got 3 threads right there. And I think I only took like 2 threads off that one. So I'm just gonna do the other side and we'll do a quick test fit and go from there. Alright, so that's where it was hitting before. I've just put it back on, and the bolts are now shaved down a couple of threads, which should give me enough to clear. Going ahead and put some plastic washers on there just to kind of protect the paint, and then I did it on the top side as well to give it like the smallest amount of raise up as well. The hinges, everything here is still loose, so I don't expect it to just, you know, line up properly or anything like that. The whole point of this is to see if this is still happening. I can hear when I do that, that's when it makes contact, so that's good. Same over here, so it looks like I may have solved that, unless that's the hinges just being loose. And it's still got a little bit of a gap right here, and it's not much, and it's a lot less than what I had. But it still doesn't want to lay down. So I need to put the car in the air. That side's actually a whole lot better. Like there was a point, like I said, the line, this gap here, don't worry so much about, because I've got the hinges basically unbolted under there. But this gap I'm not worried about. But I used to be able to put my whole finger under there, like it would just slide under that gap, which it doesn't do now. So that's a really good sign. So yeah, now all I need to do is put the car in the air, put the camera underneath there, and see what the hell it's hitting. All right, so now that I've got this thing in the air, looks like maybe the bonnet stay. Can't really see over there. I can definitely see it's hitting the bonnet stay on this side. This is probably the advantage of having no engine. So I've gone ahead and marked it, and just like I thought, that's basically where it's hitting. So I'm gonna cut either side of that just to kind of make like a little channel, and I marked how deep I want to go. So we'll just basically chop that little rib out and make a little channel for the bonnet stay here and here, and then you can see there's like a little mark there. So I'm just gonna give it like a little zip there and a little zip there, which look to be these little AC brackets. Like I thought the way that bow was at, it was like basically right in here, and it just wouldn't lay flat. So that makes sense that the radiator support being right here and the bonnet stay being right there was causing it to kind of raise up a little bit. So I think once I zip these little channels out, we should have it laying pretty flat, and I'll be pretty happy with this. Then I can worry about lining it up and making sure my gaps are right. And there you go. We now have two brand new access holes in the bottom side of the hood. I was pretty careful not to go through and actually touch the carbon underneath, because this top layer right here is just fiberglass. But this should help us lay flat. And I mean, overall, it doesn't take anything away from the hood itself. So let's put it back on the car and see how we did. It's laid down. The hood hinges themselves are still loose. I know I keep saying that, but I just need to reinforce it. So what I'm gonna do now, like I said, it does look to sit a whole lot better, but you can still kind of see, well, can't kind of, you can definitely see a gap right there. And then the same thing on the other side where it just doesn't quite want to lay down. So I'm gonna repeat steps 1 to 5 and put the car back in the air, put the camera under there, see where it's hitting, and if I need to do another trim, I'll do another trim, and we'll see if I was successful with that. Before I show you guys the underside of this, I'll just show you. Closes and latches. And the gap is a lot better. Like, you're talking maybe 1 to 2 mil that it's sitting up, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not happy about. Not happy about at all, Jan. But it is miles better than what it did sit. So before we go any further with that hood, which is what it is at the moment, but I wanted to touch on something that was really awesome that happened, you know, this has actually been months in the making, but just kind of came to fruition here a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago now, is I'm doing car features for that racing channel out here in Australia. And it's something that honestly has been in the background for a very long time. I've got to give huge credit to the old War GTR owner, Anthony. Without him putting me in front of Javier, I don't think this actually would have happened. So huge shout out to him. Basically, I was trying to do a feature on War GTR before it ended up being sold. It just kind of never happened, but as a part of that, I ended up speaking to Javier over at that racing channel. We got to talking, had a couple of phone calls, and it just, honestly, it seemed like a piece of a puzzle that was just, you know, kind of almost meant to go together. So I'll be doing a lot more features for them here in Australia, obviously since they can't come out here. And yeah, we're looking to make some jam together. So you'll definitely see my head on their channel a lot more often now, hopefully, if we can get some more features done. It's one of those channels that, you know, has been around for quite a while. You've seen so many different cars, and you know, they're at the top content level where they figured it all out. They have that formula down, and you know, that was the big draw for me. Is, you know, this is a massive learning experience, because just like I'm talking to a GoPro now, this whole thing started with a GoPro, you know? Really cool to see that it's come to this, and for me, this is just another step to learn and grow, you know? So I'm sitting here staring at this thing right now, and if you follow the channel for any amount of time, you'll know I like things to be right, you know? Like, I don't like to half-ass things. Let's put it this way. Right now, as the car sits, it doesn't matter what engine I have in it. It doesn't matter how high the engine sits or how low the engine sits, because there's no engine in it. So it could have an RB26 in it, it can have an RB30 in it, hell, it can have a V8 in it, doesn't matter. There's nothing in it right now. And the hood still does not fit. That's the part that irks me, because it should drop straight on and at least line up with, you know, the guards left and right, with a little adjustments on the hinge. Sure, it should not be fouling on the prop rod on the radiator support. How does that happen? There's nothing else in there. That's the car. That's the basic part to get right. I was actually planning on having to cut the vents or something like that to clear the valve covers on the hood. I was planning on that. We haven't even made it that far, and I'm cutting this thing up. That's after I've cut it, and you can still see there is a gap. And I just cannot get the bonnet to lay down and be, you know, flush where it needs to be. So whether that's, you know, more cutting or, you know, taking some of the ribs out to give it that little bit of flex, putting bonnet pins in, I don't know. But without an engine, that thing should not be sitting like that. It's just disappointing, because I mean, I've flown this thing all the way from freaking Canada to get it to Australia, and then I'm having to sit here and modify it before I've even got an engine bay in the car, you know? Like, shouldn't happen like that. But like a good friend just told me, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And let me tell you, it damn sure ain't easy. Alright, so real quick, I'll just show you what I had to cut on the hood. And just, yeah, for the squeamish, just realize that this isn't the end product. And yeah, a lot will get changed. I'm going to re-fiberglass the bottom of it, so it won't look like this. This is only until I get the dummy engine in, and then I can finally see what else needs to be done, and I can re-fiberglass the bottom to clear the bits that I need. So there's probably going to be more to come out, but this is what I've done so far in order to fit. So number one is the 2 channels. I've had to make this bigger, just to fit over these AC brackets because it was still fouling here. I did a channel on both sides. And then the other thing was, I have that strut brace that I run, and you can see I've had to like cut that piece out because it was fouling on the strut brace. All right, so before I let you guys go, I'll just give you a real quick update what's coming with the GTR and where the process is at, how it all looks. So I stopped by CRD the other day just to go and have a chat, try and game plan, because like I said, now that we're starting to crest the hill, I kind of need to get the ducks in a row so that we can, you know, have this thing moving again. So what I'm waiting on currently is the drop tank. Then that'll allow me to plumb the car up with fuel. I'm gonna go to CRD and get a dummy engine, like sump to cover dummy engine, so that way I can fab up the car, and that'll basically let me do intercooler, cold side, all the fab work, including a new exhaust. And then once the fab work's done, really it's just getting the car to CRD so we can start on ECU and whatever wiring pieces I need, and then all the things that make it run. So the coil bracket, the R35 coils, the trigger kit, the balancer, you know, all the other pieces. So I get people asking me all the time, how far away, how far away, how far away? Ideally, I would love to have this thing done before my Bathurst cruise later in the year. Yeah, like I said plenty of times, I'm not about to cut corners, put a stock engine in this thing just so I can make it to an event. That ain't how I roll. Go big or go home, you know, from Texas. That's how we do. That's a quick overview with the car. So plenty of content coming. I'm gonna work on getting a merch drop happening pretty soon, just to help kickstart everything as well. And yeah, TRC, man, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next Man Cave Minutes. Peace.